Now the wing of this model is sitting here over the fuselage. It's not going through the fuselage in any way. So it's sitting on these struts, and it's what is called a parasol wing. Now we have to be very careful when we fasten this wing seat down. I've already formed the wing seat. It's supposed to sit here, and if we measure from this straight line and up to the wing seat, we get 64 millimeters here and 62 millimeters here. 64 here, 62 here. This will give us the +1 degree of incidence that we need. Now the easy part is now to take these measurements, 64 millimeters here, 62 millimeters there, and glue this wing seat down like this. Now I've measured everything as I have to, and I'm very carefully going to glue these wing seats to the outside of the struts and just hold them in with clamps. Now what I can do is get this diagonal strut here. I just lay down one of these plywood pieces, cut it along here, and then fit it up along here. Here I've got the diagonal strut. I fitted down there and use the sandpaper to make it sit exactly like that, and then I can make a line on either side here. Okay, Now this glue has set up, and what I now want to do is take strips of this plywood and double the struts, all except the diagonal. So I'm going to fit these in here and here on the inside of the wing seat, and make this all much more strong. I'm not going to do it on camera. I think it would just be boring, so I'll call you back when I've done this all. Okay, here we are. The wing seat is fitted, and the only thing needed is the dowel that is supposed to come here between them. It's just to keep them from flexing a little bit, but the dowel is 3mm, and I've already drilled 3mm holes here, and unfortunately I don't have the regular 3mm dowels. I do, however, have a barbecue stick or skewer or whatever. This is 3mm, and it's made of bamboo, which is really strong. And the only thing you have to do is sort of thread it in there and glue it, and Robert is your mother's brother, as they say, I understand. So there we are. Okay, here we have the wing on the wing seat, fastened with two elastic bands. And what we can now do is place the tail plane, or the horizontal stabilizer, just about in its correct place here. I'm going to hold it with this clamp, like so. Now it's sitting in its place, and now I can sight down from the tailplane to the wing and see if they are both in the same plane. This is very important, and if this end here is more up than it should be, we just sand a little bit from the this side to lower it. So this is a very important measurement. Right, I am now going to glue down the horizontal stabilizer, but it has to be exactly correct. Now I've got a center line here, and I align the center line with the exact middle of the end of the fuselage, and I've put down a pin to hold it there. Now the usual practice is to put a pin down here at the front, and then measure from the pin to the corners of the stabilizer. In this case I can't do that because the wing seat is in the way. So I have to pick a point on the wing seat itself, and in this case I'm going to go up into the corner here, both sides. I can't just use this strut here because it's aligned. It's a diagonal. So depending on where I measure, there's going to be different measurements. So if I go completely up into the corner and measure down to there, and here I get 449 millimeters. So let's go on the other side. Fortunately, this measuring stick has millimeters on both sides, which makes life much easier. So here I measure 443. So this one has to go forward. Here I got 446. And here we have 446, and that is where the tailplane should sit. Okay. Here we have a lot of things going on at the same moment. Now what we have to do is we have to put in the tailplane, or a horizontal stabilizer here. We also have to glue in the fin here, and we have to put in these fairings. There are two balsa blocks on either side that have to be glued down and formed. But the thing is, if I glue them with the tail and the fin in, I won't be able to form them. So what I have to do is I have to take out the tailplane and the fin and put in substitute 3mm balsa, then form these blocks, take out the substitutes and put in the tail. So it's a fairly complicated maneuver. Complicated, of course, also by this this tube here, which will go to the rudder, which is around here. So let's see how we go on. Here I have these two balsa blocks. They've been spot glued to some 3mm balsa, and now I just have to plane them down and sand them to this shape, which will then fit onto the back of the fuselage. Okay, here we have the tail piece. I've formed the balsa as much as I can off the fuselage. Now I just have to remove this bit of balsa wood and fit it on and see if I can glue it maybe down permanently. Okay, now these are glued down here, and this this fin fits down here in between. This is just there to keep, because these are on the in the air. I just put this here to hold against, and now I can form them completely along the sides and to the right form. Alright, now this is formed about as much as I want to. The only thing now left is to do some final sanding on it, maybe. But the thing is, I can fit the fin in here, and the stabilizer will fit in here. But I will not glue them on until after I've covered them with plastic film. So no tail on as of yet. The next thing we're going to do is to fit the motor. Now the motor that we're going to use is this this electric motor, and it's far too short. It doesn't stick out as much as it should. So what I did, I made up this box that the motor is going to sit on, like this, and it will glue onto the firewall, and so it will be it will stick out far enough. But we have to enclose it in a cowling. So we can do that without having the motor on. We just put some wood, balsa wood, on top and on bottom, form it, put a nose plate on here, form everything, and then just cut it off. And there we have a cowling, which we then can fasten on again. This is the next video.